Hi guys, it's Crystal with Design Bundles. Today I'm going to show you guys how to apply Siser Easysubli to a tank top that is 95% cotton with a built-in bra. So let's go ahead and get started. I have already pre-printed out my design using my Sawgrass printer. I've got a piece of parchment paper. You could use a mask if you had multiple pieces to carry this over, but this is one big piece, so I'm not going to need a mask today. So I found this super cute design over on Design Bundles. I'll have it linked down below. So all I'm going to do is fussy cut this. You could definitely use your Cricut or your Silhouette to do a print and cut for this as well. I'm also going to be using the bigger Cricut Easy Press. You could definitely use your heat press, and I'm also going to be using the Cricut pad. You could use the pressing pillows or anything like that. Now, this particular tank top I found at Walmart, you get like a 2-pack for $3 and something. You can pick these up all over. This one has a built-in bra, so you're going to want to make sure. So say, for example, I'm using my pad that gives it a little bit to remove those seams, but you may want to apply a pressing pillow in between that built-in bra, depending on how thick it is. So here you can see that I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut all the way around. What I like to do when I fussy cut is I just leave a nice little white border all the way around as close as I can get. That way I'm not going to cut into the design, and that white is going to blend right into this white tank top and you're not even going to see it. So if you get a little bit jagged here and there, totally don't worry about it. I also want to remind you once again, you could definitely use your Cricut or your Silhouette, even a Brother scan and cut thing, so that way you could have it cut around this for you to definitely get a more perfect cut, but you definitely don't have to. When it comes to Siser Easysubli and you have a big design like this, same thing with Chromoblast, you can definitely just do a fussy cut all the way around. Now, one thing I want to point out right away is you want to dry these. So for 60 seconds, which you're going to see here in a minute, you definitely want to dry this first before you handle it. That way you don't smudge any of the inks. Luckily, I didn't have to deal with any of that, but definitely make sure you dry it first, which, like I said, once again, we'll see in a second, and that way you can avoid smudging. So if you don't, definitely try to hold on to the little white pieces to avoid smudging any of that ink because it really hasn't settled into the printable HTV. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to fussy cut all the way around this. Now, one thing I want to point out, you may notice on my S and at the bottom of one of these cones, it kind of cut off a little bit. So either A, I made this design a little bit too big when I printed it out because I just printed it directly from the Sawgrass Print Manager, or I turned off the margins. So definitely make sure and keep an eye on that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hold. You can see I'm holding it about an inch or two above my design. I'm not setting this back down, and I'm definitely not touching my design because if you do, you're going to get ink on your iron. Same thing if you have a swing away heat press, you can definitely just, have it hovered above. It'll just stay right above it about an inch or so. And then if you have a regular heat press, just kind of hold it about an inch or so. Once again, definitely do not touch your design. And you want to do this for about a minute. And this is going to set those inks. So definitely do not skip this step. All right, so once you're done with this, you're just going to go ahead and pick up your design. And now what we need to do is pull the backing off. Do not skip this step because if you try to set this on your t-shirt and try to apply the heat, you're actually going to apply the heat to its backing and it's going to get stuck. Now I'm showing you guys here that you could purchase the Easysubli masks, which is going to pick up the design just like when we're normally using HTV that has a carrier sheet. So if you have a design that has multiple pieces, apply that now and then pull off the backing. So that's going to carry everything over. So if you had the word mom and it was just the individual letters, you definitely want to do that. Unless you want to try to line them up on the t-shirt, that's fine as well. You want to be nice and gentle with this process. You're just going to go ahead and peel it right off. So if you see I've got my corner there where the R is, just be careful not to rip anything. So you're just going to peel it right off. It actually comes off super duper easy. So now you can see this side, which is super shiny, and that is going to be your adhesive. Now we are ready to apply the adhesive to the t-shirt. So let's go ahead and prep up our t-shirt. So the first thing that I actually want to do is I'm going to take my Cricut pad here. Once again, you could use a pressing pillow. Since this tank top has a built-in bra, as you guys can see here, you want to get your seams up off of the t-shirt because if not, it's going to be uneven and some of that adhesive may not apply to the t-shirt correctly. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to take, I believe this is 9x9. If I can remember correctly, I'm going to go ahead and take this pad here and I'm just going to get it in between that built-in layer there. And once again, you can definitely use a pressing pillow for this, a piece of foam, something to just kind of separate those two pieces. So now it's a very smooth surface. So I'm just going to go ahead and smooth everything out. Now, not all tank tops have these built in, but I thought this would be a great example so you guys would know how to do this properly. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and lint roll my shirt. You definitely don't want to skip this step because once again, we're still working with those sublimation inks and you don't want to have any issues with that, as well as you don't want to get any little pieces of lint or anything stuck under your adhesive because that can cause issues later on. Next up, we're going to go ahead and pull the moisture out of the t-shirt. So number one, this is going to pull out all of that moisture to help prevent, once again, any sort of peeling later on in the future. You always want to do this whenever it comes to your heat transfer vinyl, sublimation, any of those sort of things. Always pre-press your t-shirt. Moisture as well as it's going to smooth everything out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be very careful because it's still nice and warm, but I'm going to go ahead and line it up where I want it. And as you guys can see right down there at the bottom right hand side, look how that is turned in, and I'm actually going to accidentally press that, which can cause this to kind of peel up later on. That one corner is going to end up having issues, but I just proceed forward because once again, it's a very good example for you guys to make sure and pay attention that your entire design is super smooth before you press your iron on top. We are pressing 315 for 15 seconds, and I've got medium pressure. So I'm going to go ahead and press this. We're going to simply go ahead and pick up our iron, remove our parchment paper, and there you have it. Look at how bright and vibrant these colors are now. So they're very muted down because it was sublimation. And now that we've pressed it, they became very bright and vibrant as we always see with sublimation. Now, as you guys can see in that bottom right-hand corner, my snow cone, my ice cream cone, if you will, got bent over. So I looked at it, but because the two pieces kind of clamped together, there was no fixing that. So later on, I'll probably actually take a pair of scissors and trim that away so there's no issues later on, because this is just for my niece. Now, if I was selling this, obviously I would have to trash it or give it away. I'd actually donate it. I wouldn't even trash it, but there you go. Look at how super cute these are. I really love how the glitter pops on here and it looks like it's true glitter. Sublimation is absolutely amazing to play around with. It's super cool. It looks like you have so many different layers of iron on here and we actually don't. It's just sublimation on Easysubli. So really, really cool. Love this. So definitely try it out. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the like button down below and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.